But should he have tried to do at nearly 51 what he did when he was half that age, the moonwalk? I mean, the fans expected him to be the Michael of old, to put on the dazzling performances, very energetic. In a sense, were they wrong, the fans, to expect that of him still at this age?
You know, we all we all want to see our heroes the way they were, you know, in this case, 20 years ago or so. But, you know, Michael wanted to give that same energy and enthusiasm in his work. And he didn't want to disappoint anybody. So it was like him to want to outdo himself of yesterday. But, and so he was he was trying to constantly evolve.
But
you
what?
know.
But
so yes, I
was going to say, do you think it is just that, his wanting to give to the fans? Because he also had these huge financial pressures. Let me tell you what he said in 2001. He said, Michael Jackson said, people like James Brown to Sammy Davis Jr., some of the real pioneers, are always on tour, because if they stop touring, they go hungry.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. I mean, we have a saying here in the community, in the music business community, that you move, you lose, or the early bird gets the worm, and all of those cliches. But it's true. If you don't get out there and try to hustle and be there before your competitor gets in, you're at a loss. And we all feel that way, and I'm sure Michael felt it most of all, being that he was the top man in the business.
But do you think that there were financial pressures on him? And we all heard the reports about how he was so heavily indebted, spending so much money all over the place, that there was a pressure on him to make money, and he felt that he had to go on tour to try to do that?
I'm sure he did have those pressures, and we all have those pressures, and you have to go. Your strength, that other strength, has to come out of you, and you have to go around those issues. You have to block your mind off from those issues and do what you're supposed to do once you're on that stage, and you have to block all that out, and he did. But it's still, you can't help but internalize a lot of that, if you know what I mean.
But
it's just you could do so much.
Yeah, but it's a ruthless business, isn't it? I mean, you yourself, Lamont Dozier, you joined Motown in the early 60s, stayed until 1968. You yourself have said you felt exhausted. You felt almost burnt out. I mean, the music business really builds people up, but it also exacts a huge price from you all, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a price to pay. And like you just said, it was at times I wanted to throw in the towel, but my passion and my love for the music business just wouldn't let me. You know, it was something that, as a child, I was driven, because I made my first record when I was 15 years old with Atlantic Records, and I was driven. I remember being in the studio, and my producer at the time was driving me to do more and more and more in the recording studio, until I practically broke down in tears after under the pressure and the stress. So yes, it's a tough business, but as they say, only the strong will survive. And if you're thin-skinned in this business, you can't make it, and you won't make it. It's the ones that can take a licking and keep on ticking, so to speak.
Because you also were a performer. Not only were you part of this songwriting trio, the Motown legends of Holland, and with the two brothers Holland and yourself. I mean, you say it's a tough business, rough business, but is it also an exploitative one? Does it exploit the people in it?
Absolutely. You have people there that do nothing but exploit, and people that they're not talented themselves, and they're probably frustrated. A lot of them could be frustrated musicians and songwriters, but to be in the business, they find the talented people and they exploit them. But at the same time, the person that's being exploited gets his chance to shine.
You brought a lawsuit against Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown, with Brian and Eddie Holland, because you felt perhaps you weren't getting your fair share of the royalties and you wanted some more. Was that a real low point for you? Because, I mean, the lawsuit went on for 10 years, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you know, we had to iron out some things. The Holland brothers and myself decided that we wanted to start our own business. We did so much work for Motown Records, and we felt that it was time to start our own business. We had been approached by several record companies and several business people that wanted us to start our own label, which we eventually did. And after we couldn't get the type of deal that we wanted at Motown, we decided to leave. So we went on strike and just did what we thought was best for us until we settled a lawsuit after a long time, a long big fight and great expense.
Was it the right thing to do? Was it the right thing to do, Lamont Dozier? Berry Gordy said, I love those guys, meaning the three of you, and they love me, but they obviously wanted to get away so bad and do their own thing. But he fought. He wanted to keep you to those contracts that you'd signed with him.
Well, you know, like I said, we felt that we had earned our freedom, so to speak, or earned a better contract that would include us in the Motown business part of it, meaning that we wanted to have a subsidiary label, if possible, and that was not to be. So we made steps to be satisfied.
You wanted to make more money?
With other people.
Did you want to make more money? Well, because you had a lot of creative freedom in Motown. You did your own thing there.
Yeah, but money is only one part of the issue. You want to grow. You want to have things that you can pass on to your families one day and feel like you got a future. I didn't want to feel like after we had done so much work at Motown that we were burnt out and we couldn't do it. That's not the time to, to leave. By that time, you've given all you got. We wanted to be able to, while we were still viable, we wanted to be able to have something of our own business. And that's primarily what it was. You know, money was just part of the issue.
And the legacy of Motown, I mean, it goes on. It was a very important thing that happened so many years ago, didn't it? I mean, people say it broke down racial barriers because you had people of all colours listening to the Motown sound, and you and others were such a big part of it. Is that your life's achievement, do you think?
That's one of the big stars. I must say, I can't complain about all of the work we accomplished there in making those things you just said happen, bringing people in the races and the masses together all over the world, and giving people something to feel good about with our feel-good music, we would call it. And but no, my work is just beginning. You know, I'm a practicing songwriter, and the best for me, I think, is yet to come. I'm doing a Broadway musical now, The First Wives Club, who I rejoin, I should say, with the Holland brothers to do this one-time thing together, because we have separate businesses that we're into in different directions that we're going into. But we did come together to do the First Wives Club, which will be out next month.
Are we going to hear a bit of the Motown sound there then in that production, the First Wives Club?
Well, you'll be able to hear a little bit of that, and hopefully some new things, some new sounds and new directions that we've been working on. And we feel very good about it. I put a lot of time in this, 4 years now, and we feel that we have something very special that a lot of people are going to enjoy.